Hey guys. Okay, so this is gonna be a touchy subject for a lot of people out there nowadays, and I get it, but I'm still gonna say it. Um, School buses and seatbelts versus school buses and no seatbelts. Now, yes, I'm a mother of a daughter who's in school. She doesn't ride the bus, but when she does ride the bus for field trips, I am thankful that she does not wear a seatbelt on the bus. And that is because seatbelts are very unsafe in buses. They cause more damage than good. And people who... I'm not going to say it because no, that's going to start off a whole other fight. So no, I'm not going to do that because this is my opinion. This is what I think, not what anybody else says or thinks. But this is me explaining why I say this. I say this because there's facts. There's so many things out there that's showing that buses should not have seatbelts. It is because, yes, kids are getting injured in accidents, and the fact is they would be way worse if they had seatbelts. Children are like little drunks. I'm sorry. They are. They're like little drunks. So when there's an accident, they go loosey-goosey and they don't get hurt as much. They don't. They may end up, depending on how the bus is hit, they might just get, bumps and bruises and maybe a cut at worst. For something small, but could end up with something with a broken limb or something. If it's a little worse than just a little side swipe. But I mean, but isn't that the risk with any vehicle that you're into? I mean, really, that's your risk when you're going into your own car. Really. I mean, you don't see city buses having seatbelts. Nobody ever questions a city bus about it. Yet, you're surrounded by metal. Everywhere you look, there's a metal bar. And people don't argue about those. Like, at all. They just don't. But yet, you're going to argue with school buses that are completely padded. Like, the seats are padded. Even in front of you, they're padded. Like, I just don't understand this. Something that's not padded is the window and the ceiling. That's it. Like, I don't get this, people. Yes, in recent times, there's been a lot of accidents where, unfortunately, some kids have died from being in a bus accident. Some kids have, unfortunately, got severely injured. And I get it. You're seeing all these horrible, horrible things. But what caused those? It's the stupid idiots that aren't paying attention on the road. They're speeding too fast and, oh, there's a bus. And they can't stop or they just go right through it. And it's like, people, those are the people that you need to watch out for more than anything else. Your kids are safe on the bus. You get that? They're safe on the bus. They are. I swear they are. They are. And, I mean, really, people, it is the driver. Driver can do only so much. That's what their job is, to drive, make sure your kids are safe, and get home safely. Or to school safely, or wherever they're going safely. That is their job. They don't need to be looking at making sure that your kids are buckled in. or something were to happen, to unbuckle them. You know how many kids can be in a bus? Up to 73 people. 73 people. It's a lot of kids, people. It's a lot of people. It's a lot. And imagine all of those kids need to be buckled. Every single child needs to be buckled. Now, who's going to be one that has to unbuckle them all when they're hanging upside down, potentially bleeding, and really, really injured? Who's going to have to get them out of their seatbelts, catch them so they won't hurt themselves anymore, and then escort them off the bus safely? The driver. Now, how much harder is that for the driver to do that, even if they themselves are injured? And I don't... Oh, this is why they have seatbelts in buses, so the kids can get off themselves safely and help each other out and do what they need to do and, get safe compared to the driver and just like, it drives me nuts. It really does. But, prime example, today here in Minnesota, there was a bus fire. And literally there was 20 kids on the bus. Not knowing the exact cause of the fire, but it was in the engine area. So where the driver was. The driver safely merged over from one lane to the side of the road so the kids can get off safely and hopefully they could get off safely. They were safely on the side of the road as their bus exploded in flames. It took a few seconds for all those kids to get off the bus before the fire took over. But can you imagine if they were all in seatbelts? Those 20 kids were in seatbelts. Can you imagine how much longer it would have taken the driver to handle all those seatbelts? I mean, yes, they were all middle schoolers, so they probably could have done themselves. But still, if they were littler kids, like your preschoolers, your kindergartners, that needed the help, or kids with a disability that needed their help, could you imagine how much longer that could have taken? It could have taken a couple minutes just to get all those kids off the bus, unbuckled, and to the back of the bus where they would have been safe. Can you imagine how much longer that could have taken? I mean, really, when you're dealing with a fire, and especially on a bus, it don't take that long. It doesn't take that long. But thankfully they were all middle schoolers, and they could all take care of themselves and get off the bus. And, that's scary. That's scary stuff. And, they were going to a baseball game, and they were going to, they're going, maybe it was basketball, I don't remember what it was. Maybe they were going to a game. They were 20 kids that were going to a game and compete and all that fun stuff, and here their bus got caught on fire. Hello. But, yes, their bus did come and rescue them, all was good, but it took a long time for that bus to get there, and they were on the side of the road for for about an hour. And of course I drove in the traffic that correlated from that fire. So my day went from my drive from our school to home, instead of taking me my normal 15 minutes, it would take me about half hour plus, just to get from point A to point B. And, can you imagine how many people were, how long it took people to get from point A to point B earlier? Not but 30 minutes before I got there, when the fire actually started. So, I mean, that's just, okay. Going on a tangent now, I need to stop. But that's why buses don't need seatbelts. They're not safe. You think they're safe because they're safe in cars. But really, you're in a car where you can touch the roof with your hands while you're seated. Buses, you can't. Unless you're a giant. But no, it's not safe for kids. It really, really isn't. And it's a lot better for everybody all around. And so yeah. But I want to hear your opinions. Are you pro seatbelt or against seatbelts?